Hi, Ellie here from Letter and Journal, and I want to tell you a little bit about my habit trackers, or maybe more specifically, my habit tracker fails and why I gave it up and what I'm doing now. So, when I first started bullet journaling last April, I loved the idea of a habit tracker. And I definitely set one up like right away in my journal. I thought it was so cool. I picked some habits that I wanted to do every day and I put it on a tracker and I tracked it for about a week and I gave up. And so then next month I did the same thing. I tried a tracker. I tracked for about 3 weeks, gave up. And other trackers, this one in July, I had the flu and I was actually on vacation and I didn't track. And there was just this pattern that was happening every month. I even moved to a weekly, and some weeks I would do well, and some weeks I would leave largely untracked. You can see. So I kept going with it. I kept trying to make it better. And it's not actually that these things weren't actually getting done, but I just wasn't tracking them well. I started out my new journal. I did okay in November. And then December, just this past December, look at that. One day I tracked. So starting in the new year, I just gave up. I have no habit trackers beyond this one. What I started doing instead was tracking just one thing. It's more than a habit, it's a routine, but I added it to my monthly spread, just one column of squares right here. And every day I did that routine, my morning routine, I checked it off. And I did the same thing for February. See, I realized that actually a lot of the things that I was adding to my habit tracker were things that either didn't need to be tracked because they were so simple, like sweeping the floor. I'll do that when I need to. Some of them don't even need to be done and can be delegated or just aren't a priority for me right now. And most of the other ones really need to be scheduled in. For example, my exercise, I don't need to add it to a habit tracker. I need to schedule that because it takes some significant time and they really need to be planned out in advance. Jerry Seinfeld has a productivity hack that a lot of people have adapted. He has a big wall calendar and he decided he would set out to write one joke a day. And every day he wrote a joke, he wrote a big X in red on that day of the calendar. And then he just did it every day. And he said his only job was to not break the chain. So he set out to do it every single day. So when the new year started, I decided that I would start my own chain. And I've talked about my miracle morning routine, which actually is a collection of habits that are done consecutively. And then I just set to start my own chain, and day by day, square by square, that's happened now, and I'm over 45 days in. And I think just taking out the habit tracker and going back to simply tracking this one routine has been a really good setup for me. So if you're like me and you're not so good at tracking your habits, but you still really want to establish good habits and routines, consider changing it up or adding this in. Pick one thing, one routine or one habit that you'd like to track, something that you will do every day, and go for it. Start your own chain and don't break the chain. And pretty soon you will feel like you've got some real momentum under your belt, and you can even have a visible reminder of what you've done, which is what I've got here, which is pretty exciting to me. So I'll keep you updated on my miracle morning and how that's going. And maybe down the road, I'll decide that that's such an ingrained habit that I'll pick something else to track. We'll see.
It's time to see what you're made of. Ooh, it's time to see what you're made of. Yeah, it's time to see